Hello everybody! Happy Wednesday! How are we doing? We are back live, baby! Having missed one last week, I can only apologise. Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I have a spot on the end of my nose. I no longer have a spot on the end of my nose. I'm sorry that you had to go through that with me, but I noticed it, and if I didn't do anything about it, it would be irritating me for the next couple of hours. Good evening, Colonel, Tattooed Zoologist, Martin Spoon, Yamail Angmar, Reza, hello buddy, Stoogie, Martin Spoon, good evening, one and all. Tonight, I don't know if any of you have seen this. Some of you may have if you are a fan of YouTube channels and you are a fan of watching YouTube videos. Some of you may well have seen that a number of large creators have got to play Space Marine 2 early, and I'm not jealous at all. I am a little bit jealous. I wish I'd gotten to play it. Because it looks amazing. It looks really, 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 really good. It looks like the game that we've been waiting for. Okay. It looks like the video game we've all been waiting for. It looks like Space Marine 1 was kind of like that, but not quite there, because it wasn't really. It was good. It was a good game. It wasn't a great game. It was a good game. This actually looks great. I don't know if anybody has seen it. We might even do a little bit of cheeky react content to some of it if you haven't seen it already. Only for a couple of minutes. I'll show some videos off on the YouTube. But Mr. Reza says he can't wait to play with me and then also play Space Marine. So here's what I think we're gonna do, guys. I think we're gonna obviously I think Rich and I think Joe as well also really wants to play Space Marine 2. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to play it. We're definitely going to play the campaign. We're definitely going to do some of the extra missions. But what I might do is I might set aside time on like a Friday night once a month to play Space Marine with you guys. We might stream it, we might not, but definitely as a Discord benefit, as a channel member benefit, as a Patreon benefit. Because I genuinely think it could be really exciting. And it'd be a great game to kick that off, I think. Because it's Warhammer related. I was going to do it with Helldivers 2, but then it had so many connection issues right at the beginning that it was actually just really difficult to even try and play the game. And so I then just ended up not doing it, really. I have been playing a little bit of Helldivers recently, though. It's great fun. A benefit to be killed by Reza. Well, exactly that. Good evening, Andy. Good evening, Alaric79. Hello, Captain Crunch. Hello, Ricky Drinks Paint. You're ready to play Helldivers 2 again, by the way. Well, Rez, after the stream tonight, I might be able to jump on for an hour or two, which will be at about 10:30 is generally when we hang things up for the evening. Good afternoon, Taz. So if you'd like to tonight, that would be awesome sauce. I think Joe wants to. He was texting me earlier today saying I want to play Helldivers 2. That might have changed, but Adam can play it now. Adam has a PlayStation 5 and everything, Rich. He's finally joined this generation of gamers. So guys, tonight we are just going to be chatting. We're going to be chatting about stuff. I will show you something I've been working on, of course. You saw it all on Monday. I have been working on Tyranids. Here is a Death Leaper. Here is a Malaceptor. Here is a Trigon. Here is a Morlock. So this video, I am filming it. Not that anybody asked me to, but I'm doing it anyway. So watch out for how to paint High Fleet Hydra, these 4. It's kind of like a clearing the backlog video kind of thing. Kind of dealio, that sort of thing. Is what we're going to be going for. But tonight, we're going to talk about games. Video games. Warhammer video games, specifically. Because there have been many. And there have been quite a few not very good ones. There's been some good ones. There's been some great ones. And there's been some really bad ones. Which you would expect from any franchise, really. But I'm curious to know in the chat, if you play Warhammer video games, do a tier list of Warhammer video games. How do we do a tier? Is there a way to do tier lists? Tier list maker. Do I have to do this before the stream to get this sorted out? Video games templates. Is there a way to search on here? No, of course there isn't. What if we just click on that? Oh wow. Okay. I just want to search for, like, Warhammer Games tier list. Oh, we do have one. Someone's made one on Tier Maker. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Hello, Captain Mannerings. You got a bony matter to pick with me, Chad. Oh no. What have I done now? Is it because I said mean things about Blood Angels? So there's this tier list that we can play with. Oh God. What am I looking at? This one. There. So apparently if I do that, you can see, you should be able to see a tier list now from Warhammer Games tier list maker. Although, hold on, I need to go back to this because if I want to actually look at the chat. Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. There we go. Okay, so now, theoretically, if I go like this, you should be able to see it and not see the chat. Is that the correct thing? Yes. There we go. That's what we like to see. Check that out. So what have we got on here? Vermintide, Armageddon, Battle Sister, Blood Bowl, that's 2, Blood Bowl 1, Dawn of War. Hang on, I need to zoom in. My eyes aren't what they once were. Okay. All right. All right. Interesting. Anyway. Just got some questions in the chat. Just wondering if you were considering doing a video on Storm Fiends. It's entirely possible to do a Storm Fiends video. However, do you really want me to do Storm Fiends instead of whatever new gets announced on Saturday? because that's basically the choice. And also, they're out of stock. You can't buy them anywhere. So I don't have plans to do them as they were until I can get my hands on them. I need to get them and a God, what's it called? You know, the big gun, warp lightning cannon. I need to get both of those things to do the other spearhead, but they're both out of stock, so I can't do them. I just physically can't. Yes, there do appear to be a number of duplicates here. That's not very good. Bearing in mind, I didn't make this. This is somebody else made this. I was absolutely stoked about all things Blood Angels until I saw the Sanguinary Priest refresh. All of my dreams crumbled before my eyes. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm not responsible for the weird creative direction 40k has gone in. But yeah, I would probably lean towards the fact that you're probably not going to be getting probably not going to be able to have a jump pack Sanguinary Priest anymore because they're about to get rid of that. I have to scroll up for your Bony Matter. Where's my 69 ways to use Bony Matter video? Oh yes, I forgot. Sorry, I could only come up with 3. I'm a terrible YouTuber. Please like the stream. Okay, I'm just going to very quickly arrange the games that I've played into how I think they should go. So, for example, I would put Dawn of War there, right? I would put Fire Warrior there. I would put Blood Bowl 1 there. I would put Blood Bowl 2 there. Vermintide I would put there. Gladius I would put there. I didn't like Gladius. Sanctus Reach I would put there. Deathwing. Okay, so I've tried to play Deathwing very recently with Joe, and it was terrible. Dawn of War is behind my beautiful head. I'm sorry. Is that better? So I played Deathwing once before and it was fine. I tried to play it with Joe and it was terrible. So I'm going to put it there. Is what I would suggest. Inquisitor Martyr, I tried. I didn't quite get into it, but I could see why people. Move my face cam to the right, maybe. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Oh no, wrong thing. How's that? Is that better? That's better, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so what have we got in here? What's in this? Okay, Battlefleet Gothic 2. Again, let me just put these in a way that makes sense to me, and then we can, and then I'll move them around. Battlefleet Gothic Armada. It only goes in there because it was worse than the second one, but only because the second one was so much better. Space Marine 1, I think, goes in here because it's fine, but Dawn of War 2, again, completely different to the first one, goes in there. Battle Sister I've not played. Armageddon I've not played. Mechanicus I have played and I didn't like it. Goes in there. Underhive Wars I thought was rubbish. Total War Warhammer 1 I would put in here. And I'm assuming that is an expansion to Total War Warhammer rather than a Total War Warhammer 2. A lot of these are just duplicates though. We want a better poll than this, really, don't we? Let's see if there's a better poll. A better tier list. Warhammer Games. This looks to be the same thing. Amazing, good, meh, bad, terrible, haven't played. Well, there's definitely more than this. Oh, it just saves the last one. Yeah. Total War makes an S tier because of your map drawings. Total War 2 does. Um... Okay. Okay. Let's stop with this for the minute, because what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of the React content that I often don't agree with, but I don't have access to the game, so I have to do this. Shush. Chad, thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Terrible YouTube consolation prize. Absolutely kidding. You are literally the best. Two things. One, use your clout to get our Jump Pack Sanguinary Priest back. And two, Chaos Gate Demon Hunters is really freaking good. Is it good, is it? Because I've not played it. Right, let's do that. So now, if I go over here, like this. Okay, so at the moment, what we are seeing, and I've got it muted, is this is Jack Frags. If you don't know him, you should subscribe to Jack Frags, because Jack Frags is a great YouTuber. Really fantastic. If you like video games, you probably already know him. There's probably nothing that you haven't already seen before. But this is Space Marine 2, right? So we've just got it muted so that we don't get completely screwed over. But as you can see, this is how the game looks, right? Now, I don't quite know how to explain this in a way that makes sense to most people, but this game right here just looks so fun. Like, so one of the issues with Space Marine 1, if you ever played Space Marine 1, there's never enough enemies on screen. And when there are enough enemies on screen, they're all small grots. There's never enough boys, right? And then the balance always feels off, because boys sometimes can stack up to Space Marines. Knobs definitely can, blah, 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 blah. So you'll just end up wading through boys and knobs occasionally. There's not very much in the game that really is all that challenging. However, as you can see from here, if we just go back, the thing that's mad right there, all of those are on screen at that one time. They are all interactable as well. So if he shoots at them, which I can't remember if he does, but if he shoots at them, you get kills essentially. So those are live NPCs. That is a thing that is happening, right? You can see just how many Tyranids there are on screen at the moment. Like, all down here, this, that, and the other. Look at that. Just look at it. It's absolutely insane. And like just the scale at which we're working here on this video is unbelievable. And it looks so good. It's being made by the World War Z dev. Had fun with the zombie hordes on that. We'll have fun with Nids here. So if we cycle through, because there's a bit in this mission, because I've watched this video twice now. We just cycle through. So there's a really great bit in this video. I absolutely, please do go and watch the video yourself to see Jack's commentary on it, because it's very, very interesting, and there's a lot of information here that I'm skimming over because I don't have all of it. But so so this bit here. So to give you an example of just kind of some of the cool stuff that's happening in Space Marine 2, at this bit we kind of get to a scripted event in this, and this is not the campaign that he's playing. He's playing one of the kind of additional special ops missions. So this is what you can play with your friends. You can see that there's a bulwark and a sniper over here that are part of his squad, but they're just AI bots. So you can play it by yourself, obviously, and there's a bit of exposition that goes on here. But this is not like the campaign in full. This is just the kind of like these are, like I said, the special ops missions that you can do with your mates. These are cooperative. They're not competitive. There is competitive gameplay in the game. You can play 6v6, I think it is, or it's 3v3. I'm not sure, but 6v6 Space Marine versus Chaos Space Marine type things, which looks also to be a pile of fun. Which is all the type of stuff that I really want to play on the channel with you guys, and with Rez and Joe and Adam. Maybe we can try and, if it is 6v6, maybe we can try and get an elite squad of 6 together, all on Discord at one point. So as you can see, look here. So these are all the Tyranids just pouring over the roof, and it just like, look at that. This is what you never got from Space Marine 1, which is understandable given, like, you know, the technology of the time. But like, and you can see Jack is currently using a Hellblaster plasma gun right there. But they're just all kind of trying to crawl up this wall, and now they're jumping up there. We've got Tyranid warriors and stuff, just kind of, yeah. And now, yeah, I'm just, the scale of it is mind-boggling. And this is just a, this is, like I said, this is just like the multiplayer, co-op multiplayer. This is not the campaign. Expect the campaign to be bigger and better in all shapes and sizes in all the missions. You're going to have some absolutely crazy scripted moments. There were in the first one, to be fair. Like there's the Titan level and all that kind of thing. So I would expect big things from Space Marine 2, just on an absolutely monstrously huge level. And you got this super ability here that the Blade Guard puts down. But yeah, so he's got these 3 classes on screen. There's multiple different classes. The Sniper and the Bulwark right now. The Bulwark is obviously the Blade Guard. This is just sort of your normal Intercessor build. We have, obviously, the Hellblaster or the Bolt Rifle, and also there's a Chainsword involved there. The Sniper is a bit more of a ranged class, of course. It's just crazy. And now we get to the kind of the conclusion of this. You can see there it is. This is the target of this level, is to kill this Hive Tyrant. And you see all of these little Termagants and Hormagaunts charging the bridge. So what do? We deal with it by pressing this button, and then let's just drop a statue on it. So this is what I mean. The scale of this is outrageous. You see? So, like, if we just kind of wind through a little bit. So there's a bit where he kind of looks at these adverts for the Janthir Wilds for Guild Wars 2. So you fight this Hive Tyrant towards the end, and it's absolute beefcake. So fans of the franchise will remember there's the executions, but now there's like these gun executions where if you kind of get a perfect parry or dodge, you can let off a round with a pistol or a secondary weapon, which is just like kind of like a sort of half execution type thing, which is a really cool little detail. So just whipping out the bolt pistol in that kind of. If you've ever seen the Astartes animation, you know how there's like the snappy movements with the bolt pistols and bolt guns? It kind of looks like that is going on in this one. And then they defeat this Hive Tyrant. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to scroll through because there's a point here where he shows off the kind of the different classes. So this is the Battle Barge where you can, it's basically the hub. Like if you played Dark Tide, same thing. But this is there we go. So the Armoring Hall, right? So you have your perks. At the moment, he's Tactical Intercessor. But then you have your Assault Marine. You have your Vanguard set, Bulwark, Sniper, and then I'm guessing that Heavy is going to be Gravis. Yeah, there you go. So you can see there's a bunch of weapons to unlock, different perks for your Space Marines, different melee weapons. So you've got the Thunder Hammer, the Power Fist, Chainsword. You've already seen. I would imagine that there's definitely a Power Sword in there. That would be strange if there wasn't. I would guess that it's in there. So again, your classic Space Marine 1 content. But not only here, you can edit the armor, and this is where you can just like throw on all of these kind of super fancy bits to your Space Marines. You can change the color: Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Iron Hands, Raven Guard, Salamanders, Space Wolves, Imperial Fists. But he doesn't go into it here. But you can also do a custom chapter, so you can create your own. I think he does. Maybe he does. So you can choose like from all these different types of suits. There's just, you can make your Space Marine truly unique, which I think is just a really nice touch. And it's like one of the things people really liked about Realms of Ruin is that you could create your own storm hosts in it. And I see on like Facebook groups and stuff, people just being like, you know, here's my storm host, and I figured out the color scheme by using Realms of Ruin, which I think is really cool. But you can probably do the same thing in here. But like, as you can see, you can just truly customize your Space Marine. Different shoulder pads, different helmets, all that kind of good stuff. Deathwatch, there you go. Love to see it. There's the different greaves and all this kind of thing. So the things that really make Space Marines stand out. And that is a jump pack right there. So there's all the heraldry and stuff. White Scars are in here. Black Templars. And by the looks of things, you do also get cosmetics and stuff. So there you go. Doesn't it look great? Doesn't it look fun? If we just go forward a little bit, so as you can see here, we are in a different area now. There's the jump pack. Boom. That should be familiar to fans of the franchise. But yeah, I mean, just look at, there you go. That's the shot right there. All of these Tyranids are not just assets in the distance, they are all functioning enemies. You could kill all of these if you had enough bullets. Right? And you see these ones are filing in from over there. But you could be shooting at these ones over here if you wanted to. I genuinely think that this might be everything that we hoped it would be. Which is really exciting. Oh, look at that. Space Marine 2, man. This is going to be good. I feel it in my bones. It's going to be far better than anything that 10th edition has put out. What do you think? Are you excited? As always, guys, I should remember to tell you, please do leave a like on the stream. It's a free way to support the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you're not already, please do subscribe. And if you'd like to support me a little bit further, you can either consider becoming a member, gifting some memberships, or dropping a super chat. Maybe you've got a story you want to tell me about your favourite Warhammer 40k game. Maybe you want to just ask me a question that I wouldn't necessarily normally get a chance to answer. Any of those things, you can drop a super chat, for example. Yeah, I'm just... Space Marine is going to be... I think it's going to be good. I think at this point, it's barring any like horrible game-breaking bugs, which the reason it's coming out so late in the year is because they had to push it back, right? And I think it's because the game just really wasn't ready. And I think there was probably too many bugs and stuff. They couldn't, pardon the pun, but like in Jack Frags' playthrough video, he doesn't encounter anything where he gets and there's no errors or anything like that, which, you know, generally a good thing. They generally don't cut those things out if it does happen, because you want to give people the correct information about a game. Star Wars Outlaws or Space Marine 2? Star Wars Outlaws looks okay. I don't know if it's going to be the best thing since of sliced bread. What I heard, the issue was more optimization than bugs. Well, that's good if they're trying to optimize it for more systems. Because one of the things we've had in sort of recent times in gaming, I don't know how much people are up to date with this type of thing, but like when you have games that come out like Grey Zone Warfare, which you basically just had to have a 4090 to run it at any sort of decent frames, and that was it, basically. That's not great. So if Space Marine 2 runs on, you know, not the most up-to-date hardware, but on older hardware as well, and it's optimized and it works, then it should be great. It should be really successful. Black Ops 6 or Z? What's Z? Or is Black Ops 6... Is BO6 not Black Ops 6? Space Marine 2 looks just out of this world. What if they let you play Tyranids in PvP? Well, I mean, that would be awesome. I think, as far as we've seen, the PvP only allows for Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, but that that to me won't. Well, and Thousand Suns, but like that wouldn't to me mean that you wouldn't be able to in the future. I would guess that they would add it in, but it's not that we have. We just might not have seen gameplay of that yet. Or at least I might not have. Somebody else in the chat might have seen it. Did you ever play Left 4 Dead? Imagine they did a mode like that where you play as both Space Marines and the Nids. Yeah, I played Left 4 Dead a lot. And Left 4 Dead 2. That would be great. Left 4 Dead is one of those games that, like, I think Left 4 Dead was one of the best games of its generation, and it wasn't actually that complex a game. It was a very simple game. And it seems to be a formula that a lot of people have sort of tried to replicate, but have overcomplicated it. And I think if Space Marine 2 gets compared to Left 4 Dead in a favourable way, that is only a compliment of Space Marine 2. And if it does manage to capture some of that Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 kind of vibe, then it will be an absolute triumph of gameplay. For sure. Because often like one of the problems that you find with games like that is that the replayability just kind of bottoms out after a while. Whereas what Left 4 Dead did is it had that game director which would attack you at any time, or sometimes you could go through it with barely seeing a horde. But then you would get, like, just absolutely swamped by tons and tons and tons and tons of zombies. And that's the game director managing a new experience for you every time. So if Space Marine 2 does that, and I think it does, it would be absolutely incredible. Good evening, Dan. How you doing? Has Liam finished for the evening? I'm hoping for operations mode to be basically Helldivers but drenched in 40k. Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, So one of the things that that Joe and Joe and Adam, and also Rez and I all agree on, is that with Helldivers 2, there is always something so exciting about the drop-in. The drop-in just never gets boring. The music is perfect. The being fired at a planet is never boring. That's always interesting and exciting. It's always entertaining. It's always good times. And there's something about the gameplay loop that for Helldivers 2, it always works. Because, again, Helldivers 2 does have a kind of game manager type thing. Helldivers 2 does sometimes make the level more difficult than it needs to be. Or than it initially was sort of be intended to be. So it would just be like, oh yeah, no, even though you're on extreme difficulty, we're basically going to ramp up to Helldive for a good period of this. Or it'll just decide that on this particular drop, you're going to get this version of bug and bot so much more often than you are any other ones, because it's just more difficult. Which is fun, which just keeps it interesting, because once you've kind of unlocked most of the stratagems and stuff, what can tend to happen in these games, and it might be the same thing that happens in Space Marine 2, depends on how well it's supported. But if you see, like, once it gets, after about a month, once everybody's running around with the highest possible gear, and the best guns, and the best combat weapons, it's no longer a challenge. And if it's no longer a challenge, then it becomes stale. And that is a risk with a game like Space Marine 2 and Helldivers 2 and Left 4 Dead. But I'm hoping that it's not that much of a problem. I'm hoping most of it's cosmetic in Space Marine. Yeah. You're painting raptors. As in Raptidons or Raptors Space Marines. Both are cool. Hello, Conic Melter. How you doing? Oh, Raptors Chaos Space Marine Raptors. Oh, that's even better. I am hopeful for the game as a whole, but it feels like 3 different games combined. Hopefully they support each enough or go deep enough with 1 or 2 to make it last. Yeah, I agree with that, Stiegel. You do want to see... you do want to see at least a level of support, not just on a focus on one thing. I mean, if one mode is good enough, it can support a game like that. You would expect the campaign to come out fully formed. Maybe there'll be more DLC content further down the road. And I think they've actually, if I look at Steam, there is, if we go back and back, Space Marine 2. Not Space Marine 3, that doesn't exist yet. Let's just look at that. So if you pre-order it now, there's 3 different levels. You get the McCragg's Chosen DLC, whatever the hell that is. If you pre-order now, you get that. McCragg's Chosen DLC includes the Ultramarines inspired skin set for the bolt rifle, the chainsword, and the Crux Terminatus pauldron. Okay, so it's not that mind blowing, but there is a season pass. There's the Ultramarines Champion Pack, whatever that is meant to be. And also, if you pre-order it now, you get to play it 4 days early. So, at the Gold or the Ultra Edition. So, yeah. I have pre-ordered it. So, hopefully on the 5th of September, there will be a stream. Have you played Rogue Trader? Very briefly. I started to play it and then I got distracted. And then I haven't been back to it. Which happens more often than it should. The worst one I did that with is Detroit Becoming Human. I installed it on my PlayStation 4. I booted it, and I did the first conversation, and then it was like, Josh, we have to go out. I can't remember why. There was an emergency. So I turned it off, and I went. And then I didn't play it again. PC or console. This is what the Steam version says. I don't know what you get if you pre-order it on PlayStation 5. Let's go and have a look. Space Marine 2 pre-order. Boo 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 boo. So it's on PlayStation 5 XS. Is that Xbox Series S and PC? If we pre-order now, 26th. I was just about to read out my birthday. You all know when my birthday is anyway. It's the 26th of September. But I shan't tell you what year. So there's the collector's edition for PlayStation 5, which comes with that awesome Titus statue. And 4 days early. That's the collector's edition if you pre-order that. What about just the gold edition? That come in a steelbook or something? Yeah, steelbook. That does not look like you get. Oh yes, you do. So if you pre-order the gold edition, you get to play it 4 days early. On console. I finished painting my Mephiston model today to lead my upcoming Blood Angels army. He took 20 hours. Yeah, he is a fiddly one, old Mephiston. Old Mephi. I don't like that new games don't release box edition for PC. Yeah. But then what would you get in a box edition for the PC, you know? Do you want a disc? Because you don't have I don't have a disc tray. I have... No, I don't. Actually, I haven't. The only disc tray I have for a PC would be my old iMac. Bring back paper maps. Yeah. Yeah. Maps are nice. I also like it when they include the original soundtrack. If it's a banging soundtrack, I really like that. So I got the limited version of the Witcher 3, which came with the soundtrack, which was great. Actually, that reminds me. I thought I bought the expensive version of Baldur's Gate 3, and if I did do that, that means I'm owed a soundtrack. There you go. That's ADHD right there. Let me just look. Baldur's Gate 3. DLC. Darn it, but I am owed one. I love an OST. Vermintide game is still my favorite, but this game could take over. I enjoyed Vermintide. I thought it was good. I thought it was better than Darktide, which is strange because it's basically the same game. There's just something about Vermintide felt a little bit more on tone. Darktide at times with the way that the characters talk to each other, and some of the voice lines, it's like it's trying to be light-hearted, and then and then you go into like just these truly terrible places. And you see all of these awful things in Darktide, and it's like sometimes the tone just doesn't match up. Although, as Dan says, the Darktide soundtrack was mega. Yeah, it is great. The Darktide soundtrack is very, very good. Obviously, I think the best soundtracks. Okay, chat, do me a favor. What's your favorite soundtrack? Can be film or game. I'm curious to see what you guys say. Sorry if you talked about it on the Monday stream, but what's your opinion on the new Blood Angels Captain and Apothecary? That they're perfectly average and not very exciting. They're not it's not very inspiring that it's just redesigns of more models, basically. There's nothing new there. It's just a new version of a captain, of which I already have like 15 captains. Okay, we got some good ones here. Atomic Blonde, Divinity Original Sin 2. That is a great soundtrack. Doom Eternal, another great one. Greatest Showman. Is it a soundtrack to The Greatest Showman, or is that the plot? Command and Conquer. Which one? The original? Last of the Mohicans. That is a great soundtrack. Idols of Torment. Strong. Red Dead Redemption 2. Legend of Zelda. Again, which one? Ocarina of Time is my favourite one from Legend of Zelda. Anything by Hans Zimmer. Pirates of the Caribbean. That's a Hans Zimmer right there. Good evening, Cameron. Atomic Blonde is the best soundtrack in the history of Earth. That's a bold claim. Lord of the Rings. How to Train Your Dragon 1. Yeah, great soundtrack. Great soundtrack. Flash Gordon. Yeah. Team America. Yeah. Freedom isn't free. It calls folks like you and me. And if we don't all chip in a buck or five, who will? Deadpool vs. Wolverine soundtrack is amazing. I'm excited to find out. I haven't seen it yet. Might be going on Friday. Highlander. The original Command & Conquer, right, yeah. Blade Runner. The Gwent soundtrack. Soundtrack from Kingsman. Dread. Soundtrack is underrated, I think. The Dread soundtrack is good. It is very good. Second Blade Runner. Gary Smithson, good evening. Forrest Gump. Hell March 2 from Red Alert 2. The Pokemon soundtrack. But the one from the games. Yeah. I promise. I will never die. Hi, Chris. Mad Max Fury Road was cooking. Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. It's a good soundtrack. Do you know which... So, I have some. Some of you might have forgotten. Or don't know. Or have never listened to. The last two God of Wars. Their soundtrack. Unbelievable. I'm just going to look it up. Yeah. So the God of War soundtrack is incredible. Another soundtrack that I absolutely adore from games is the Final Fantasy soundtrack for 7, but also for 10. Love the Final Fantasy 10 soundtrack. What else have we got? I mean, The Witcher 3's soundtrack is incredible. Just brilliant from track to track. Gladiator, you guys are saying, yeah, Gladiator ones are great. Pan's Labyrinth soundtrack, yeah, Laura, that is good. It is very good. Ghost of Tsushima had a really good one too. Yes, it did. Also, Baldur's Gate 3 soundtrack track is a brilliant. I would go and get my guitar right now and play Down by the River for all of you, but nobody wants to hear that. And also, it's far away and I can't be asked to walk that far. Who's the bald capybara, after all? Skyrim and Baldur's Gate 3, especially the House of Hope. Yeah, House of Hope, yes, that is great. Halo, I mean, Halo's theme is fantastic. Is its soundtrack in general good? That's very good. There Came an Echo and Fury were great indie soundtracks. Yeah. The original Guild Wars was very good. I never really got into Guild Wars. I was more for World of Warcraft. Maybe we should have just done a tier list for soundtracks. I love like soundtracks for me. They're the thing that like takes it from a good game to a great game. Like Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, because most of Metal Gear Solid's soundtrack is just heartbeats and breathing, but its theme is excellent. So there's something that we learn in so when I did music technology at school, at university, and part of that was we did a module on basically music for film and TV, and they said in one of the lectures, and I'll always remember it because it's so very, very true, is that in film and TV, a sound can invoke an image, but an image can't invoke a sound. And what they meant by that is, as soon as you change the sound to something, you can completely change what that sound, what is happening in front of you, what it means. But you can't do that with an image. An image can't change how a sound works. So yeah, a sound can invoke an image, but an image can't invoke a sound. And what they would talk about there is like moments in cinema that are beautifully scripted with music and sound and the way things work that make them so much more poignant. So there's like, if you've seen Road to Perdition. Have you seen Road to Perdition? Anyone seen that one? Tom Hanks, Paul Newman. So, in Road to Perdition, there is a scene where, towards the end, when Tom Hanks finally guns down most of the mob men, all the sound kind of fades away, and you just get this mournful piano piece, which makes the whole thing seem sad, even though something so very desperately violent is what's happening on the screen before you. And everyone goes, "Wow, it's so powerful." And it's not because of what you're seeing. What you're seeing is irrelevant at that point. It's what you're hearing is what is invoking that thing in front of you, which is why music and sound is so important to film and TV. It's why if you watch something and those things are not kind of gelling or meshing together, especially with games as well, is that it just doesn't work, right? And it's one of the things I always watch for. It's why, like, I think if I'm ever pushed, and someone asks, what's one of your favorite films? One of my favorite films of all time is the name of it just completely went out of my head. It's not that good, clearly. No Country for Old Men. Got there before I could even Google it. No Country for Old Men. So one of the reasons why No Country for Old Men is so good is that there is no soundtrack. There is nothing that going on in it. There's no kind of score or anything that underpins it as it goes along. So the moments of tension in it are so tense and so extreme because all you're hearing is the soundscape of what is going on. So you're right there in there. You're sat there right in the room. And you guys might be thinking of the exact scene I'm thinking of, particularly in the hotel, when Josh Brolin's hiding out and he finds out that there's a tracker in the briefcase. But he switches off the light and he watches the footsteps go underneath the door, and then it goes quiet. Now, if it was a horror soundtrack, you would have you'd have a string ensemble that is heading towards a crescendo. So you get that, and then it hits when in a horror film, when the doorknob flies out of the door, that would be when the crescendo hits its peak in order to force you to jump by its bang or its absence of sound. Whereas because there is no sound leading up to that moment, when it comes at you, it is so much more profound a jump than it is anything else. If they'd put music under it, it would have completely ruined the moment. Hot take, but I'm bored of movie soundtracks being just a bunch of collected songs. Yes. Licensed music, when not used appropriately in film, actually takes away from the quality of the film. It just breaks the whole thing apart. So when it's just like, oh yeah, we're just waiting for it. So this is one of the things, like with the Suicide Squad, the first one that was made. There's like how many licensed songs are in is that the first one or is that the second one? I just need to see Will Smith. Yeah, I think this is it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. There's 23 licensed songs in that film. And before you even get into anything that's happening, in the beginning of the Suicide Squad, every single character gets its own licensed track. But every time they're doing something different on screen, it's a different licensed song. So it's just like, yep, okay, cool, we get it. You have an interesting taste in music. Do you see what I mean? Do you think running up that hill was used appropriately in Stranger Things? Yes, I think it was. I think it was used appropriately in Stranger Things because it set the tone. It made sense. It made sense for it to be at the point at where it was. Where it falls down a little bit in Stranger Things is well, as Tattoo George just mentioned, is the Master of Puppets thing. At that point, it becomes a little bit more. It's the most obvious choice of the era. Do you see what I mean? Hello, Adam. So yeah, like music has such a massive power over film, TV, and video games. It really does. Yeah, I think yeah. I've not even watched Aquaman 2 yet, Adam. You're such a fan. Guys, we are 10 likes away. 10 likes away from our target of 50. We're also 60 members away from 469. Or 11 members away from 420. And you guys like comedy numbers just as much as I like comedy numbers. Do we know who's done the SM2 soundtrack yet? No. No, I don't know yet. Master of Puppets was one of the first songs I learned on drums 25 years ago, and I still drum today. Well, that's awesome. That is incredible. One of the first you learned on drums? Wow. Joe, one of the first songs I learned to play on the guitar was Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And then I went from that to trying to learn Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers and doing a really bad job of it. So then I went to Californication instead, which is a lot easier. Sometimes the absolute lack of sound, music or otherwise, can be great. Yeah, well, so exactly, that's what I mean. So actions can be augmented, or they can be actions and words can be augmented by music. They can also be more impactful without music. That's why sound can invoke an image, and an image cannot invoke a sound. If you're a fan of Metallica, the Tattooed Zoologist, and let's face it, a lot of us are here, I'm going to show you something. So, when I was a young warthog, and I was learning to play guitar, one of the things I really desperately wanted was an impractical spiky metal guitar. And so, eventually, when I turned 16, I saved up my pennies, and I bought myself an Explorer. Here it is. This is it's an Epiphone. It's not a fancy ESP or anything like that. This is my Epiphone Explorer. It's terribly out of tune. Yeah, there you go. So, premium content tonight. Yeah, well, exactly. Josh tunes his guitar. It's the best kind of content. It's what everybody wants to hear. Oh, I do have a plectrum over here. So yeah, here it is. So this is it. This is the wonderful wonderful guitar, and it was broken. So the so the top frets were dead. They didn't work, and this kind of just went into storage for a while. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so it was damaged, and the electronics didn't work. Two of the frets were dead up here, and the volume pot was also disconnected. And so I got it back because my parents are moving. I got it back from them, and they're just like, look, it can't stay in our garage anymore. We don't have room for it, so you have to take it. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll take it. And so I then went down to a place called True Tone Music, and they fixed it. And now it's perfect. And it was honestly, it was quite emotional, actually, because it was like, I haven't really picked this thing up since I would have been 17, 18, since I left home. Because I didn't take it with me to university. So it would have been 18 since I last played it, and then every so often I'd come back and say, is it still busted? It's like, yeah, it's still busted. So I haven't really had a good chance to play it, but we brought it back from the shop, and I was like, cool, we're just going. And yeah, it just worked. It's such a impractical guitar to play. But yeah, so I still remember how to play all of it, but yeah, it was just so nice to finally get this bad boy back, and actually just play with it. I do sometimes think it would be really fun to buy some gear in order to wire this up to here and just sit and write songs with you guys. I don't know how well that would go down with YouTube. Mini Painting Dad, thank you very much for the €20. Just because I feel the same way about over 100-year-old upright piano. Oh man, there's something so good about these, you know, music touches us in so many different ways. Yeah. I don't know how well you can hear this. You probably can't hear it very well at all. This might be really dull and uninteresting content. But tonight we're just hanging out, you know? Good evening, William. But yeah, this right here, this guitar was what really kind of made me fall in love with playing. I really enjoyed it. I had this old kind of like kind of beaten down sort of starter guitar. It was called a Jim Deacon Stratocaster, and it was terrible. It's basically the equivalent of a Squier. You know those ones where if you're looking to learn to play guitar, so you go and look online, learn to play guitar, and you'll get this £100 kit that'll have some 10-watt Fender amp, a terrible lead, a Strat, 2 or 3 plectrums, and a Stratocaster. That was what I had, and that was what I kind of started to learn to play electric guitar on, because my dad had this lovely Yamaha acoustic, which I sort of learnt my G chord on. You know, I learnt all that stuff on. But, yeah, no, then I got that Jim Deacon for about £100. 10 watt with an 8-inch cone, lol, like playing this song. Exactly, Alex. And then this was the next one. This was the guitar. This was the guitar. And this is all I played for about 2 years. I loved it. Even though it was broken and it didn't work. And, like, you would just sort of, like, breathe on the volume knob. And it would just go, nope. No longer going to work. But it was beautiful. And then after that, I got my Ibanez, which is a Strat shape. RG something or other. It's not proper RG. It's just like an entry level RG type thing. But I did find out mine's quite rare because it's got three single coils in it. So normally you'd have a humbucker and 2 singles, or a humbucker and a single. I really should figure out a way to do this sort of stuff with you guys. All right. Scanning the scene in the city tonight. Yeah, it's so impractical to sit here with this. You have to stand with it. I have to play it like this, because otherwise it just doesn't work. I always dreamed of like owning, like, we've been over this before. We did a guitar stream a little while before, but there's like a shopping list of guitars that I really want to own, but also things like just like an amp. I always wanted a Mesa Boogie. Just really wanted a Mesa Boogie because I wanted to just get that crisp distortion. Never could get one. That was way too expensive for me. I have a really good little Black Star amp, which is down there. But it's just not the same. Can we ask for requests? You could try. I might not know how to play it. When did you need our family photos for Tales? I keep forgetting. Get them to me this weekend. We're going to try and do it next week. Adam, Reza, and Mr. Gwatkin have all been in chat and are all currently in chat-ish. So, next Wednesday, guys? Yeah? Epilogue? Play Unforgiven. What the... Freebird. I do know it. Let me try that again. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. Naked. Okay, we can do it naked. Huh. It's just such a lovely bit of kit, this, really. Sweet child of mine. Oh, God. Thunderstruck. I did used to know how to play it, but I can't do it now. I'd have to go and sit and learn how to do it again. It's amazing the things that you remember and the things that you don't. It's like the other day I was on my acoustic guitar and I was just playing around and I was like... And I remembered it, so I was like, oh, it's that. And then it just went straight into... Yeah. Oh, and also Hotel California. Yeah. God. That would be. That's as much as I can remember. If you had a studio, would you get an air fryer? I'm one step ahead of you, Cass. I already have an air fryer. It's in our kitchen. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't remember that. Not the air fryer. No, so we got an air fryer because our current oven is terrible. So it's like the seal is not. The seal is not. The seal doesn't work, so it doesn't stay hot. So if you try and cook your dinner, and it's the recommended time to cook is like half an hour, 45 minutes. It needs an hour for us because it just goes no, no, we can't do that. Oh, it'd be so much better if we had the amp out, wouldn't it? Holy Diver? Yeah. Respect. Walk like you're talking to me. We just thought it would be easier to get an air fryer rather than bother our landlord to put in a new oven. Because you could argue that the oven does work, it just takes a little bit longer to work than it should. The thing I love about this guitar is just how much resonance it has. It just sounds meaty even straight off the bone. It's just such a heavy. These are only like string gauge 10 as well. It's not like these are the heaviest strings in the world. Such a good guitar. I need to do this now. Someone super chat if you'd like to see more guitar stuff. Just yeah, I mean this thing absolutely rips. It's so good. Oh, I've lost it. So a studio air fryer is a good thing. I don't know if you necessarily do want an air fryer in your studio. You might spend more time cooking and baking brownies than you would actually creating content. You know? I wouldn't have a studio air fryer. I wouldn't have one up here. No way. One, because they're really loud, so I wouldn't be able to record anything, which would just be a problem. And two, because I have a kitchen downstairs. I'm a long way off from being able to have a studio that isn't at my house. long way away from that. We're way too poor for that. But one day, maybe, when we get to over 100,000 subscribers, maybe we'll get there. We'll see what happens. Next week, my piano comes out of storage. I've had it since I was a kid and yet to learn to play it properly. Oh, I'm jealous of you. I want a piano. I want a full piano. I haven't ever been able to have one. And I can't play. I can play, but I can't play. I'm not incredible at the piano or anything like that. But I've always wanted to be able to sit and just sit and play at my leisure. And I haven't been able to do that. I own a bass and have done for more than 20 years at this point. Also can't play. I also own a bass. Hashtag Warhipster Studio. Yeah, I mean, Warhipster Studios, a place where you can learn to play Warhammer and also record your next EP, I guess. Aerials in the sky, when you free your lives eternal life. That'd be great, wouldn't it? What is Warhipster Studio? It is the most confused product offering on the market. It's Warhammer and metal, which normally go hand in hand. Do you know Coheed? I do. I don't know any though. I never learnt any Coheed in Cambria. I mean, so I went through a heavy metal phase, obviously, as everybody does at 15, 16-year-old. But I really kind of shifted straight into pop punk after. And just, you know. I took her out. It was a Friday night. We walked alone to get the feeling right. We started making out, and she took off my pants. And then I turned on the TV. And that's about the time she walked away from me. I think you need to play a tribute to the D. How's that? So I played my bass for church, however I can read music, and would stick to what was on the sheet. The organist would not, as she would not play anything over sharps and would flatten everything. The problem was those things were written in 4 or 5 sharps. Oh man, we've all been there. I did a little bit of stuff with a swing band where they just decided that we weren't going to do any sharps or flats, so everything was just going to be root notes. And it was just like, because you'd be sat there just being like, what? Hang on, we're here. But everyone's there. So I would always be like a semitone or whatever out, and it was just like, oh, this is the worst. I did eventually learn Under the Bridge. It wasn't the second song I ever learned, but it was. I did eventually go on to learn it. Same as the one I always wanted to learn all of, but never got around to, was Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, I've already forgotten it. Hang on. Yeah. Great stuff. Love you, Mr. Explorer. Oh, well, not Gibson Explorer. It's an Epiphone Explorer. Gothic edition. Lovely guitar. Completely impractical for sitting down playing. Completely impractical for doing anything other than looking cool as... Well, I just ordered Necromunda Terrain and I got Mortarion Plague Demon Prince, $60 US for a $170 model. Well, there you go, Jacob. You win. You win the prize for today. The universe was kinder to you than it was to everybody else. Oh, dearie me. It's been a bit of a funny stream, this one. Bit interesting. Some slightly different stuff here and there. That should be more. The problem is you always run out of time in the day. Especially when you run a YouTube channel, you just run out of it immediately. You look at the clock and you go, oh god, it's already 8:30, it's time to go live. Or in my case, it's like, it's 8:30, it's time to go live. Then after that, we've got another 6 hours left to go. Because I've got to finish these Tyranids. Something I've got to do. But, you know, as it has been pointed out to me before, if ever I want to do more musical stuff, all I have to do is do more musical stuff. And then we can spend some of the money on more musical stuff. Because it's tax deductible. Did you ever send back all of that? What does that word say? Stuff you got sent by accident from Warlord. No, I need to sit and paint it. Because second edition of Thingy is on the way. It's not far away now. Bolt Action. I want to dive into the worlds of Bolt Action. My chair is lower because my chair is broken, guys. There we go. That's back to normal. Ah. See, I thought it said Dakar Seriad. And I was like, you're crossing the streams there, my friend. But yeah. No, I want to dive into the next edition of Bolt Action. I think it could be good fun to have a look, and it's something different to paint, isn't it? Something different. It's always good. It's always good to do something different every now and then. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, we have talked about a lot of different things tonight. We have talked about music, we've talked about video games, and we've talked about Warhammer. This is what you get here. That's me. That is me in a nutshell. Music, video games, and Warhammer. Hi. It says so here on my arm. It's my only tattoo. It's a music one. Just because it means the most to me, to be honest. It's I found in music the way to feel. It sounds really, really pretentious when you say that, but like as a teenager, just I think this is the same for so many people, but it was music that finally communicated what I was thinking and feeling as I was going through that awkward adolescent time, and I loved it so much, and I loved reproducing it and playing it on my guitar, and it just so happened I could hold a tune while singing, so I was in a couple of bands and just loved it and loved everything about it, and I do miss it from time to time. Not doing it every single day. I try to play most days, just a little bit, maybe even if it's just for like 2 minutes. But you know, when I was probably 19 through to the age of about 21, 22, I would play for like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. Just sit and play guitar, play a bit of drums, play my trumpet, play the bass guitar, play the keys. I would sit and just immerse myself in music, because I was doing a music technology degree, so obviously we recorded a lot back then and all that kind of stuff, and it was just such a happy, wonderful time. And then obviously the life got in the way, because the options coming out of university were try and find a job at a studio, but all the studios were closing, and really the only chance you had were if you were able to get a job at somewhere like Abbey Road, and there was no chance a graduate was getting in. So, you know, and it's a shame that I kind of fell out of it for a very long time. There was one year where I just didn't pick up the guitar at all. I would sit and look at it and go, "Oh, I should play today," and then I just wouldn't. And then I went overboard, and I did a gig. So I'm gonna go and do a gig. I'm gonna go and play. Just gonna find a slot at some. I think it was an open mic. I'm just gonna go and find a slot at an open mic. I'm just gonna go up and play, just shake the rust off. And that was like, I played the day before just to remember how, and then I just went up there and I was like, I'm just gonna do sort of 5 or 6 songs that I can think of. But I used to do all kinds, you know. Well, one of them was I did "Shake It Off" by Taylor. Obviously, I was going through a Taylor phase, but I did "I Can Go the Distance" from the Hercules soundtrack. You know, you just used to pick songs that you knew the crowd would like, especially when you look out at the crowd and it's all people the same age as you. So if you stand up and go, "I have often dreamed of a far off place where a great warm welcome will be waiting for me," everyone just goes, "Is this actually happening?" The crowds will cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, "This is where I'm meant to be." "I Can Go the Distance" was my go-to audition song for a while. Was it? Was it? It's a good audition song. A popular one at in kind of the early days in university and just after university was McFly songs. If you just stood up and just did Five Colours in Her Hair, or not It's All About You, but any of the other ones. That girl, what's her name? What's it called? You're such a pretty that girl, and I'm sorry that you lost that girl. That one. I need to know the name of it now. Yeah, that girl. Obviously. My go-to was obviously. 'Cause obviously, she's out of my league. And how can I win? She keeps dragging me in, and I know I never will be good enough for her. Year 3000. No, that was Busted. Said I've been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they live underwater. And your great-great-great-granddaughter, she's pretty fine. It's funny how music forms you, isn't it? I've told you guys what my first album ever was, right? You know this. Don't do it, Rich. You know I have this impulsive need to annoy everybody. I will not finish the song, because I never finish the song on purpose. The last band you saw was Dimmu Borgir. And before that was Busted in Newmarket. Oh, that's cool. I never saw Busted or McFly. I do kind of sometimes think, oh, I should see McFly once before I retire. What was the last gig we went to? Elbow. We went and saw Elbow. Alice and I went to see Elbow with my dad and his friend, and they were great. I've been addicted to my Sad Captains recently. It's just a lot of fun to play. Mike N, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very kind of you. That's our first new member of the day. No, I've just been I've been loving just figured out a nice way to play it on my acoustic. And I just enjoy the challenge that it has for my vocal range, because it is a challenge to get up there. And before we saw the gig I went to previously to that was Bruce Springsteen. Which was absolutely incredible. We saw them at Villa Park. Bruce and the E Street Band. It was just amazing. Just adored it. Space Marine 2 looks amazing. I am excited to play as a Dark Angel. Yes, James. James, we were saying earlier, I think what we're going to do, we are going to launch members/Patreons gaming with Space Marine 2. So when it's out, what I'm going to do is once a month, I think, we will have an evening where we will play games with the Discord. And Space Marine 2 feels like an obvious place to launch that. But it feels like a good time to actually launch that as a benefit. And I'm going to put that into the Patreons and YouTube's thing as well. So I expect to see you there on the front lines as a son of Caliban. I mean, I should do it as a Blood Angel, really, shouldn't I? But I'm tempted to just be like, yeah, White Scars on my jam now. Hi, Tragoras and all that. Muse are incredible live. Yeah, I've seen Muse. I saw Muse at the O2, and I also saw Muse at Reading Festival. I hated them at the time when I saw them at Reading Festival. But when I saw them at the O2, I was like, okay, yeah, no, it makes sense, I guess. Oh, Adam, don't tell Alice that. She'll get very jealous. She loves Guy Garvey. Someday, when this channel's big enough, we'll form a YouTube band, and we'll play Wembley. That'll be how I do it. I use pre-established success to finally live out my dream. I'll find the brightest and bestest from around the community, and we'll rock up and play some songs. And because we have like 5 million subscribers, we just sell tickets to subscribers, and that's how we fill it. I play no instruments, but I own 10 of them. What am I? A legend? That's what you are. It's the only word to describe you, James. You are a legend. Percussionist. Yeah? That would be yeah? I've been listening to a lot of a Paris Paloma, who I bet is amazing live, but I'd be double the age of everyone else. I've never heard of Paris Paloma. Are they good? I'm going to look them up. An album coming soon. Well, I'm going to press add. In the next 4 minutes, if anybody else wants to give me some music to download legally, please do. Please drop your recommendations. We have 3 minutes left of stream. So get your members in now. Wait. Hey, we got to 60 likes. Can we get 9 more likes on the stream to get to that magical number? Idols of Torment. Official soundtrack. Yep, okay, add. What else we got? The Amazing Devil. Which album? There's 3. Love, Run, The Horror and the Wild, or Ruin. Good evening, Sylvester of Terror. Our Last Night. Metal covers. Sleeper. Ruin and The Horror and the Wild. Okay, start with Ruin. Okay, I will add the Ruin. Anesthetized by Porcupine Tree. Cask brick by brick. Alright, you guys are going too fast for me now. Anesthetize by Porcupine Tree. Okay, add cask brick by brick. It's an EP, right? Okay, added. Oh, we're very familiar with Chapel Roan at the moment in this house. The one I've been enjoying the most recently is One More Time by Blink-182. Because I'm stuck in my ways, I guess. I really liked it, though. I thought it was a really good album from them. Really good showing. Wagaki Band. Okay. That's the last one. I have a painting question. Just found out GW have stopped the astrogranite debris for bases. Do you know of any alternative I could use to get the same effect? Yeah, astrogranite. Just on its own. Normal astrogranite is absolutely fine. Which album from Wagaki Band? Captain Mannerings. There's like 7. Which one am I looking at here? 2014. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. Added. Done. Awesome. Right, guys. It's time for us to end. So thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. A lovely stream had by me. I hope it was a lovely stream had by all. And if it wasn't, please tell me in the comments. I can only apologise. Dive. Yes. Probably. I'm going to go and see if Alice is home. And just catch up with her. And then, yeah. James Matthias, thank you very much for 10 gifted memberships right at the end. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you. That puts us on 420. An amusing number for everybody. Here is my finger in focus and not me. Hello. Sylvester of Terror, thank you very much for the 199. Sweet, thank you very much. You are very, very welcome, Sylvester of Terror. Yeah, honestly, Astrogranite, and also same for Brown. Sterling Battlemire got discontinued. Sterling Mud is perfectly acceptable. But yes, thank you very much, James. That's very kind of you for 10 gifted memberships, and Sylvester of Terror, thank you very much for the 199. We shall also, of course, say a big thank you to Chad Stewart and Mini Painting Dad and Mike N for the super chats and for becoming a member, Mike N. That's very kind of you. Excellent, wonderful people. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this type of stream. We will, of course, continue to do these if you enjoy them. If you don't enjoy them, we don't keep doing them. It's the same as that. Simple as that. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Here is the hand of farewell, and I shall wave it at thee. And I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week. We'll be back with a painting video tomorrow, and we should have a live stream on Saturday. And possibly another painting video as well. I don't know why I'm waving like Wallace now. Wallace and Gromit. Cheese Gromit. Fare thee well. Good evening. Good evening. I will see you all very soon for more content. Love you. Love you, chat. Best chat ever. See you in a bit. Bye.